prefabricated multifunctional timber facade is a retrofit facade system made of prefabricated timber frame elements for building refurbishment. In general, this kind of intervention fits perfectly to the buildings built from the early 1950s until the late 1980s, which usually suffer from high energy consumption and low living and usage standards. Modernization with prefabricated multifunctional timber facade aims at reaching energy performance and lifespan equal to a new building for existing buildings. This method is mainly suitable for deep renovation involving, for instance, the improvement of the envelope from a thermal point of view, the substitution of windows, the integration of shading system, the installation of a mechanical ventilation system, and the installation of photovoltaic or solar thermal modules in the facade. In a deep retrofit performed with a prefabricated facade approach, the assembling of the modules and the integration works of the above-mentioned technologies within the modules themselves could be performed in the construction site, and the prefabricated panels would arrive on building site ready to be installed. The different benefits provided by the integrated technologies are applied with almost one intervention on site. Instead, in a standard retrofit approach, all the above-mentioned benefits are provided by works performed individually and on the building site. Building site is clearly a less controlled environment with respect to facade modules construction site. With the use of prefabricated facade approach, an integral and complete planning process prior to implementation and assembly of the elements is performed. Therefore, it can be a strategy for avoiding failures or possible installation issues. A shorter period is needed directly on building site to perform renovation works, hence less disturbance for building occupants is expected. This approach can also bring to a reduction of costs for work on site and a reduction of deficiency in rental income. Another important aspect to be taken into account is the higher architectonical and aesthetical improvement. In fact, the prefabricated facade elements can integrate different cladding typologies as well as allowing for a reshaping of the building envelope. There are hardly limits to the design of the facade. Ventilated curtain walls or plaster facades with mineral or wooden insulation material can be realized, as well as other type of facades, which will be simply attached to the self-supporting timber frame. The maximized level of prefabrication ensures that all the details are solved off-site within the planning process and not later on the construction site. Windows, doors, solar shading system and external cladding will already be installed during the prefabrication to ensure fulfilling of the technical requirements such as airtightness, insulation quality and precision of the application. Since the main insulation and other components within the prefabricated modules are well protected by the structure itself and cladding, the facade maintenance is limited to the outer shell of the envelope. Concerning the difficulties related to the adoption of the timber prefabricated multifunction methodology, one of the most relevant can be found in the mounting procedure. In fact, since the prefabricated modules can be quite big and heavy, dedicated anchoring system must ensure a quick and robust anchoring of the panels to the existing building. Moreover, the existing structure may not be good enough to hold the added weight given by the new facade. Another problematic issue is usually represented by the interconnections between prefabricated modules. If modules are not well jointed together, a proper envelope tightness is compromised, and air, vapor and water infiltrations may occur, damaging both the new and the old envelope. Usually, the coupling between the existing wall and the prefabricated facade is facilitated using a soft and adaptable insulation layer attached to the prefabricated module's rear during the prefabrication phase in construction site. Thanks to this layer, the unevenness of the existing wall is overcome, while thermal bridge effects are avoided. Probably the most challenging aspect related to the use of the timber prefabricated multifunctional facade approach is the investment cost of the technology, which nowadays is still higher compared to other renovation approaches. Changing the evaluation perspective from the initial cost to building lifetime, the cost issue may be overcome. To do this evaluation, a life cycle cost may help.